Welcome back. DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. Subscribe, engage, like, connect with us on social media at Dallas Sports TA2. We were just going over the WNBA and the NBA, and it seems to us that this is a topic that we probably going to speak on going over our allotted time, because there's a lot that we have to get off our chest about the WNBA and the NBA, knowing that there's an upcoming TV contract that the NBA really needs to find another star. LeBron James is aging out. KD just got swept. Steph Curry didn't even make the playoffs. So the only part of the old guard, so to speak, is Kyrie Irving, rolling with hometown Dallas Mavericks, who just beat to put the Los Angeles Clippers to bed. PG-13 came to the Metroplex and was G-rated. Luka had more points than Paul George, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook combined to close them out in Game 7. But despite all that hype and all that happiness and all that elation that we feel from the Dallas Mavericks moving on to face the OKC Thunder, see if they could beat them in 5 games. Too young, too light in the tail. And we just want to know, with Caitlin Clark coming down here, and none of the local affiliates mentioned the Dallas Wings won the game, by the way. The Dallas Wings beat Caitlin Clark in her WNBA professional preseason debut. Since everybody bragged about the sellout and how excited they were, no one was excited about the Wings but us at DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. Greg Beal, president and general manager of the team, was more excited about the performance of Caitlin Clark than the performance of his own team. And if he was really trying to build the brand, wouldn't he be the one that would say, hey, why is it that no one's talking about my team in Dallas? Maybe it's because you're not even talking about the team, Greg Beal, president and general manager of the Dallas Wings. You going on TV to brag about how big of a fan you are of Caitlin Clark. She was in college for 4 years. You telling me you can have that same enthusiasm for the Dallas Wings to be excited to say, I want to see what my team can do to compete against Caitlin Clark? None of that was said. It's just so excited what Caitlin has done to the game, what Caitlin has done for us. Caitlin. Not one Dallas Wings. The only thing Dallas Wings was said on TV when Greg Beal, president and general manager of the Dallas Wings, was the little pendant that he had, the Pegasus pendant that he had, and the green, blue, and lime tie. That was the only thing that he had representing Dallas Wings. You wouldn't even known that he was the president or the general manager of the team if they didn't have a little strip up under his name telling you who he was. Because not for once did he say, hey, for all those new fans who are going to start learning about the WNBA, we welcome you. I am Greg Beal, president, general manager of the Dallas Wings. So for all of you who are unfamiliar with the Dallas Wings, let me tell you a little bit about our Dallas Wings. No, not our Greg Beal, president, general manager of the team. He got on there glowing about Caitlin Clark. You would have thought he was a Caitlin Clark bobblehead, because everything that he said was Clark, head just bouncing all around on his shoulders. Like, dang. What about the Wings? He's like, oh yeah, by the way, we sold out for the first time in our history. I'm still surprised. Of course you're surprised, because you didn't do anything to build the brand. You didn't do anything to build the brand of the Dallas Wings. You talked about Caitlin Clark as if she is a Dallas Wing. She was the most important thing that you wanted to speak on as soon as you got on TV. Now, we know one of those affiliates have Iowa Hawkeyes on the payroll. We get it. But there's no Iowa Hawkeye on the Dallas Wing. So why is it that you want the support of the city, but it doesn't seem that you're doing anything to really earn that support? It's nothing. We didn't see the WNBA seems that they are trying to lily white the product as our dollars aren't enough or aren't green enough. It's something about the dollars of the minority that we've been pushed away from the WNBA, and the WNBA is saying, why are we failing? Because in this country, you can't do anything without unification. When you talk about team, the fan is a part of the team also. We're fans here at DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. We're fans of all the local teams, and our money is supporting all the local teams. But when we go out into the communities around the southern part of Dallas, the below 30 part of Dallas, and they see us in our Dallas Cowboys gear, our Dallas Stars gear, our Dallas Mavericks gear, hashtag Luka Doncic, got the Jordans, they glow in the dark. We wonder, it's all good for the patrons of Dallas to walk around with the 77 jersey on, but when is it going to be that someone besides us at Dallas Sports Talk Radio is going to wonder, hey, can we go ask Luka? Now, we understand that you're from Slovenia, and we've heard about building the basketball courts in Slovenia. Would you like to come to one of our basketball courts in South Dallas and see what we have to play on? World Series champion Texas Rangers. Would you like to come and help us dedicate a baseball field at DallasSportsTalkRadio.com? The WNBA is going to invest all this money in the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Center, trying to make it seat 19,000. Go build a facility in South Dallas. The land is cheap. You trying to bring a team back to Dallas? They just built a hockey rink facility up in South Lake. And we said this on the show previously. This is the craziest thing in the world. They ship ice into Dallas during the summer months to have an outdoor classic. Think about that. It's more feasible for the NHL and Steve DeBoer and all his guys over there to say, you know what? We want more people of color to come to our games. We want more people of color to patronize, however you say it. We want those dollars, but we don't want you to show up. And then if you can't afford to show up, we're not going to even fight for you all to watch it locally. We're not going to do that. And Bally's is saying that they trying to grow the sport. How can you grow the sport if we can't watch the games? How can you grow the sport if we can't watch the games? It's supposed to be a fan experience. These entities, Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, WNBA, all saying we want more dollars. Then you talk about the cost of concessions go up. You buy the tickets, they add fees that cost almost as much as a ticket. So you get a ticket. Say you're lucky to find a ticket in the nosebleed seats or the cheap seats in AT&T Stadium. That's where we normally sit. Those tickets cost $180 to $230. So we try to keep from going over $200 per ticket. So then you say, well, they have the standing room only at AT&T Stadium. Wrong. Those fluctuate just like inflation also. So depending upon how big the team is considered to be from a financial standpoint, when Philadelphia Eagles came, the lowest ticket was $240. And that's what we tell y'all. We've paid for the tickets. We've been going to the stadium since 2012. First time stepping into the stadium was a college game, University of Alabama versus University of Michigan. That was our first time ever stepping foot into AT&T Stadium. This was even before it was called AT&T Stadium. It wasn't even called AT&T Stadium yet. That's how long we've been going to the Jerry's World. And when we tell you that ticket prices have slowly increased, even during COVID, they cost more during COVID, which we considered that to be because there wasn't enough fans. And we know, hey, everybody had it hard during COVID, even the billionaire. He wanted to recoup some of that money that he was going to lose. But the funniest thing that we say about that COVID era, with Jerry Jones having the only stadium that allowed fans, you still got to split the money with the rest of the NFL. So it defeated the purpose of even having us come to the games anyway. And no one seems to care that we spend how much we spend. And now they're talking about that this is supposed to be, if you're corporate, these are supposed to be ways that we entice the corporate sponsors to spend with us. Think about this. Does everybody want to be smarter than the poor man? Think about this. Mark Cuban, Jerry Jones, Ray Davis, Greg Bibb. Think about this. If your corporate sponsors are coming to the stadiums and they're empty, what makes you think that you're a good draw? What makes you think that you're a good investment? You build a stadium that can seat 100,000 plus people in the pros. But how many times have you said that you had max capacity attendance? You say you have sellouts. That's because you only have a certain amount of tickets available. And that's for your corporate people. But if you get back, when we first started going to Jerry's World, tickets were $30. You could get a party pack for $30. That included getting into the stadium and sometimes 2-4 tickets, a party pack, and a dang on parking pass where you could park on the campus. Didn't even have to walk 2-3 miles. Catch the dang on the little shuttle that drop you off. Then you still gotta walk the rest of the way. Then you get one of the little bicycle people coming up and hey, you need a ride? Then $20 per person. So everything around the stadium is overpriced. Then you get into the stadium and you say, okay, they gave me a towel or a foam finger. But when I get to my seat, the people around me have stolen the foam finger or the towel. So then you contact hospitality and they put you on the list. Still haven't gotten the foam finger, still haven't gotten the towels. But So what is the fan to do? Just chalk it up to experience. Get in there, $20 for one drink. The little frozen margarita went from $12 to $16 in 2 years since COVID. And if we think back to COVID, the only thing that we had to watch for live TV were the sporting events. Everyone was forced to be at home and watch the sporting events. And the sporting events, the entities still turned a profit during COVID with no one going to the games. So how is it that we can see that it'll work for people watching the product on TV, but we so caught up in this CBA, people still gonna pay for the product even if you give it away for free. You've been charging people for basketball for 20 years. Come on. No, you're not making money. You've been charging people cable prices for 20 years. Even when Michael Jordan was in the league, that's when David Stern got the light bulb with the 5 little dots called an idea. Because he was always trying to figure out, how can I market the NBA? Everybody said, well, David Stern had a global idea for the NBA. David Stern saw the draw that Michael Jeffrey Jordan and that WGN paid for television rights. And he was like, wow, if I could get every market on that, we'll be able to sustain. See, the ones that are streamers and the YouTube age, this would be the perfect time where you could use that social media. Instead of, we seem like we want to fight with that young generation, maybe we could use the technology to educate that younger generation. That's why we started this talk show, DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. Subscribe, engage, like, connect with us on social media at DallasSportsTA2. That younger generation can go and look at the videos when they have the argument about the GOAT, who's the greatest. You hear the younger generation, that Generation X or the millennials or whoever they are, saying, oh, we went back and we watched highlights. Well, check the highlights before Michael Jordan came in the league. That's where the highlights you should check. When you see how those highlights still look like they on tape delay. And it's 2024. Check those highlights and start seeing, well, how did Michael Jordan gain his popularity? Because at the time when he was at Chicago, Chicago was like the 3rd largest city in the United States. So it had nearly 30 million subscribers for WGN. We were poor. It was on the basic cable package. So you get basic cable even when you're poor. You had Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins, WTBS and WGN for Chicago, Michael Jordan. You get to watch almost all his home games, and you get to see the Chicago Cubs and occasionally the Chicago White Sox. Never got to see the Bears. Think about that. You get to see everybody. You get to see everybody in Chicago on cable except the Chicago Bears. And they wonder why the Chicago Bears doesn't have any national presence. The people that love the Chicago Bears gotta be the people in Chicago. Even Justin Fields, #1 pick for the team, they got rid of him to go get another #1 pick. Not even 6 years later, man. When you stuck on that cold front, you always isolated. being a Chicago Bear is like being on an iceberg. It's just cold all the time. And when you need to think about ways to make the city more popular, that's already cold up there. Not many people want to endure that level of cold. Now, we haven't been up there personally. The furthest north that we've gone and actually had to work was Indianapolis. And that was cold. One morning we get off work, get out to the truck, had a 99 Suburban when they first had the little digital temperature readers. Started the truck. It didn't have a temperature readout. It spelled ICE. And it made me laugh. It was like, now that's when you know it's cold. A truck tells you that it's cold outside. It's ice. That's how cold it was. The truck was telling me that it was ice outside. The number to call, 888-637-7678. Subscribe, engage, like. Connect with us on social media at Dallas Sports TA2. We're talking about the NBA and the WNBA speaking on trying to make the game more popular. We just told everyone how the number one overall pick, Caitlin Clark, just was in the Metroplex for her first professional WNBA game, lost the game, but none of the affiliates in the city spoke on during their broadcast that the Dallas Wings actually won the game. Lisa Trammell, the coach, the head coach for the Dallas Wings, never once spoke upon how great her team performed. All you heard was Caitlin Clark. It was so funny. During one of the timeouts, Caitlin got stripped, and they called the timeout. Hey, it's okay. From the time they called the timeout, the head trainer met Caitlin at the logo. Good job. Pat her on the back. Good luck. Butt pat. The next person, pat her on the back. Butt pat. Next person, the whole line pat her on the back and butt pat her. And as she walked toward the bench, they kind of disintegrated behind her. 4 other players on the court. You want to check out that highlight where you see Caitlin Clark very welcome after getting stripped by one of the Dallas Wings. They call a timeout for the Indiana Fever. Caitlin Clark, this probably was like 3 minutes, 25 seconds left in the game in the fourth quarter when the Wings were coming back, and it started putting some defense on Caitlin that she wasn't accustomed to, forced her to turn the ball over, and it called a timeout. Everybody, good job, pat her on the back and put her on the butt as she walked to the bench. The other 4 players coming off the court, they pretty much, let's make room for Caitlin. She need all 17 seats to sit down. The number to call, 888-637-7678. Subscribe, engage, like, DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. We're talking about the NBA and the WNBA telling fibs when they say they want to make their game more visible and more accessible to everyone. But who's the everyone they're talking about? It doesn't seem like they're too concerned with our dollars. The only time they want to see us at the game is if our son is on the court. Unless you're Ja Morant's dad. They don't want to see Ja Morant or his dad on the court. Maybe we shouldn't say that, but that's the way it looks. They don't want to see Ja Morant in the Memphis Grizzlies anytime soon. Nor his dad. But is that the reason why Darvin Ham is allowed to get fired at the Los Angeles Lakers? Where's Adam Silver speaking on that? So we understand each company has its own criteria for letting your black butt go. We understand that. We understand that when we take a job, so I once worked in a position where we had precious metals on campus. We had platinum. This is industrial grade platinum. So this is that real deal Holyfield. The type of you chip some of that off and can melt it down and you could coat a steel watch with it. Your steel watch can be passed off as a platinum watch. That's the type of industrial strength platinum we worked with at one of my former positions. And we also worked with industrial strength gold. So the funny thing about this, well, they hired us and they let us, excuse us, maintain the tooling that houses this platinum target or this industrial gold target, but they don't let you carry it by yourself. And the time, excuse me, the time that we worked around this precious metal, we were never allowed to be around it by ourselves. When we signed it out, it had to be a 2-man team. It had to verify everything that was going on with those gold targets and those platinum targets. So one platinum target probably was $500,000, maybe $475,000. But this was something, it weighed probably 25, 30 pounds, solid platinum. Then you have a solid gold one that may have been worth $375,000 to $400,000. Either way, it doesn't matter how much the targets, the platinum target or the gold target cost, how much it was worth. None of that. It was the scrutiny that came along with being a level 3 maintenance person. Now, in order to get a level 3 maintenance job, you have to have had formal training. All right. Then you get the job. You're in a secure facility. So you have to badge into the parking. Then to get into the facility, you have to badge into the facility. Now, to get into the area where me and my colleagues work, we didn't have to badge in, but we had to have certain clearances in order to be around the gold target or the platinum target. Well, we won't say everyone. It just seemed that the people of color could not be trusted to be alone with the platinum or the gold. Somehow we were going to get scrutinized. Somehow we were going to be watched. And we were never allowed to travel solo when it came to a Negro or a Mexican with this gold target. So we know all companies in the United States has different criteria for letting you go. Now, we had one of us, people of color, had taken that target and you found it at a pawn shop or at a recycling shop or something like that. We have given you reason to let us go. I can understand being fired. We can say every company has criteria for letting you go. But if you take a job and before you get to the job, there were 82 separate jobs. Before you get to the job, out of those 82 separate jobs, only 33 were satisfactory. 33. Well, when you get to the job, you say, well, I see what I got to work with. I got to push this. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. Dang, I'm going to have to give up all. They already gave up all this before I got here. And this is what I need to do to try to rebuild and get us back to solid footing. So your first season, you get into the playoffs. You get into the play-in. You get into the play-in. You gain momentum and make it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. Now, you got swept in those Western Conference Finals, but for you to even make it after previously the same team that you inherited, all its flaws, the 33 out of the 82, you inherited that. You take that same team to the Western Conference Finals. Okay, you get swept in that Western Conference Final to the eventual champion of the NBA. So you get ready, you like, okay, now you're really excited about your team. We made it to the Western Conference Finals. We understand our superstars are a year older, but we're going to push. Come out the gate stumbling. Got to find footing. Finally get the footing. There's an in-season tournament. Somehow your team fights, claws, scratches, gets to the position to win that tournament. They win that tournament. Go to the All-Star break. Make some crappy acquisitions. Still got to go with what you got. Limp into the play-in. Make the playoffs. And get beat by the reigning world champion 4-1. You didn't get swept. Look at the course of 2 years as the head coach of this team. You're 90-74. 90-74. How do you get fired? How do you get fired? And better yet, how does Adam Silver not say, hold up. Come on now. You mean you're going to fire this guy after 2 years? Here I am about to negotiate one of the biggest deals in our brand's history. We've already swung and missed by missing the boat with Angel Reese, sending her to Chicago instead of letting her go to Dallas. We already missed the boat with that. The only thing that we got going on positive in basketball right now is Caitlin Clark. And LeBron James about to be 40, and you fire his head coach. So you telling me that a 40-year-old is ready to bring in a rookie head coach versus the dude that just got him to the playoffs 2 years in a row? Before he got there, they went in the playoffs. So you telling me that LeBron James, the all-time leading scorer of the NBA, is ready to start over with a rookie head coach? Now, rumors have it that it could be Tyronn Lue. So what? He's still going to come in as a first-year head coach with the Lakers. Anybody who comes into the seat is coming in as a rookie head coach. They could have 30 years as coaching experience, but Tyronn Lue coached LeBron James in 2016, 2018, 2017. Man, it's almost 2028. This dude ain't even the same player he was back almost 10 years ago. And you gonna say that Tyronn Lue should be his choice because he in the same building, all he got to do is walk down the hall and blase, blah, blase, blah. And that's what I'm saying. Those kind of idiotic deals that the commissioner is allowing to happen. Why should we want to support that? And then you talk in Dallas with the WNBA going to the K. Bailey Hutchinson Center when the mayor was just on TV talking to this nonsense, selling wolf tickets about another NFL team in Dallas. Where they gonna put them? That's what we want to know. Below 30, DallasSportsTalkRadio.com. Where are you gonna put this new football team? This hypothetical. Let's get the citizens ready to support another NFL franchise because the city of Dallas can support it. If it can support another NFL franchise, why don't you build a WNBA arena, a groundbreaking arena? They're building spheres in the desert with anticipation of bringing a basketball team to Vegas. You already got the basketball team in Dallas, 2 of them. And one plays in a college facility. The other one plays at a shared hockey facility, which all gets us talking about how idiotic we seem to be with our professional entities. When you talk about inflation and you talk about us spending more money and you're talking about the fans supporting the product, how can the fans support the product when it makes no sense what the product is doing? When you got hockey trying to play in the same building as the basketball team. But it makes more sense to go build a team training facility wherever you built in South Lake. That makes more sense than to build something that the professional team could play on a regular. It makes more sense it's like having a house and going to build somebody else a house way out in South Lake and your house falling down. You need the same equipment that they need at their house. Keep the ice cold. Keep the facility cold. You need blades for your skates. You need sticks for your hockey sticks. You need pucks. You need pads. Everything that they are going to house at that training facility, they need at the Dallas Stars. So what sense does it make to build a facility to bring in ice during the summer? You try to bring in ice in the South to put ice in the Cotton Bowl. It turns to water as you pumping it in. There's nothing that you could do to keep it cold enough, but you trying. You're going to show you got chemistry sets out there. We're going to show how we could freeze ice in 100-degree weather. And we could have our hockey guys outside on a blade of grass covered with ice. That makes more sense than building a hockey facility for the people of South Dallas, a state-of-the-art facility. It makes more sense to just bring the ice in, put it on the ground and let it melt and try to keep it cold. There's 103 degrees outside in Dallas, Texas, man. This the desert. It gets extremely hot. It's hotter in the shade than it is in the sunlight out here in Dallas, man. Stop bringing ice to the Cotton Bowl, telling us that makes sense. That's a classic. Yeah, it's classically idiotic. That's what it is. 888-637-7678. Subscribe, engage, like. Connect with us on social media at Dallas Sports TA2.